watching 6 Stories at 6 with me, Tanisha Avasthi. This is the Monday edition. On this edition, let us tell you about the 6 stories that have made headlines today and are setting the agenda. The 10/11 terror conspiracy is unraveling with more details now coming to fore on how the investigators say that the code name called D6 was given for the operation. What was the plan? What was the modus operandi? We will decode that in this edition. Meanwhile, the Chief of Army Staff, General Upendra Dwivedi, has given a direct warning to Pakistan. He says Operation Sindoor is a trailer and that the movie is still pending. Meanwhile, Sheikh Hasina, the former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, has been sentenced to death by a Jamaat court in Dhaka. And all of this while she is in exile, while she is in India. Was it justified or was it biased? And what did Hasina tell Republic? We'll get you those details shortly. Meanwhile, Anil Ambani, who is in the center of the storm in the FEMA investigation, has skipped the Enforcement Directorate summons. And remember, this is for the second time. The question is, why has he been given a free hand and should he now be arrested? Moving on, we'll also tell you about what's happening in the state of Bihar. On one hand, while there are talks about the cabinet reshuffle on who could be a possible part of the new cabinet, on the other hand is the family feud in Lalu Yadav's family. We'll get you all that's happening in the state of Bihar as well. And the last story that we're tracking on this edition is extremely unfortunate and tragic, where an incident was reported this morning when a bus carrying nearly 42 Indian pilgrims en route Medina crashed with the oil tanker. The Indian government is in touch with the agency and the embassy. We're getting you these 6 stories, starting first up with the top focus story. The Delhi terror blast investigation has now uncovered a sinister plot codenamed D6, also known as Delhi 6. Remember, Delhi 6 in a very Delite language is also known as the Old Delhi. We learned that it was a layered attack, a blueprint that was aimed at India. Sources now reveal that Plan A involved multiple serial blasts across cities on December 6. Now, why December 6 is important is because this is the day of the anniversary of the Babri Masjid demolition, while Plan B was a high-impact suicide blast targeting Delhi 6, also known as the Old Delhi. Now, the National Investigation Agencies has arrested Amir Rashid Ali. He was a very trusted aide of the suicide bomber Umar Nabi and obtained crucial information from Shaheen, the terror doctor, also known as quote-unquote Madam Surgeon, who confirms that Umar wanted to do something spectacular and was planning attacks in September. Shaheen's interrogation has revealed detail that no other channels has had, and she has said that Umar and Muzammil were at a point in time were moving the explosives back then in July and were meeting Pakistani handlers in Turkey. The NIA, remember, has placed Amir in a 10-day police custody, indicating that he holds the key to the answers to the attack.
As more layers of investigations in the Delhi terror blast unfold, new revelations suggest that the blast was codenamed D6. A twin-layered attack blueprint, D6 was a double operational code. As per sources, plan was to execute multiple serial blasts across the city on December 6th, the day Babri Masjid was demolished. If failed, Plan B of D6 was to be activated. Singular, high-impact suicide blast targeting Delhi 6, synonym to Old Delhi. Declared as premeditated suicide attack carried out by the terror doctor Umar Nabi, NIA has also held Amir Rashid Ali, the trusted aide of Umar Nabi, in 10 days police custody. Producing Amir in front of the NIA special court and granting 10 days of police custody shows that the agencies believe that he holds key answers to the suicide bomb attack.
10 दिन की कस्टडी में अब आमिर को एनआईए की कस्टडी में भेजा गया है और संभवतः एनआईए अब लगातार आमिर से पूछताछ करेगी। वो सभी सवालों के जवाब अब आमिर से निकलवाए जाएंगे, जो कि इस इन्वेस्टिगेशन में एक अहम रोल आने वाले दिनों में देखे जाएंगे। सबसे बड़ी बात कि कोर्ट में अपने रिमांड नोट में एनआईए ने बहुत साफ बताया कि आमिर का रोल एस्टैब्लिश हो चुका है, क्योंकि उसने गाड़ी खरीदी, उमर के कहने पर गाड़ी खरीदी और गाड़ी खरीदने के बाद उस गाड़ी को डॉक्टर उमर को दे दिया गया। और उसके बाद की तस्वीर हर किसी ने देखी कि कैसे लाल किले के बाहर धमाका होता है और उसके अंदर उमर जो है वो फिदाइन हमला करता है। लेकिन सबसे बड़ी बात कि आमिर को क्या इस ब्लास्ट के बारे में जानकारी दी, ये सवाल पूछना बहुत जरूरी है। लेकिन दो बड़ी बातें एनआईए ने कोर्ट ने बताई। एक, एनसीआर के इलाकों में आमिर को लेकर जाना है, एक उस शोरूम में लेकर जाना है जहां से गाड़ी खरीदी गई थी, दूसरा अल-फलाह यूनिवर्सिटी लेके जाना है, क्योंकि इन्वेस्टिगेशन में बताया गया कि जब वो दिल्ली आया था तो वो अल-फलाह यूनिवर्सिटी भी गया।
The investigation deepens, key information being obtained from Shaheen, also known as Madam Surgeon, among her colleagues. During an interrogation, Shaheen confirms that Umar was planning to do something spectacular. Shaheen further said that Umar wanted to carry out the attack in September. The EcoSport car was used to move the explosives in identical barrels in July. A meeting was to be held with park handler in Turkey. These are some revelations made by Shaheen.
लखनऊ के लालबाग एरिया में मैं पहुंचा हूं। आप देख सकते हैं कितनी सकरी गली है कि यहां पर आप कोई भी फोर व्हीलर गाड़ी लेकर नहीं आ सकते हैं। सिर्फ यहां पर साइकिल और या बाइक आप लेके आ सकते हैं या पैदल आ सकते हैं। ऐसी गली है। आप इधर भी देख सकते हैं, इधर भी वही गली है जैसा कि मैं आपको बता रहा हूं। इसके बाद मैं चलता हूं शाहीन के पिता के घर पे। शाहीन के पिता यहीं रहते हैं। दो बेटे हैं, एक बेटी शाहीन जिसको डॉक्टर बनाया उन्होंने। डॉक्टर बनाने के बाद उसकी शादी कानपुर में की। हालांकि शादी दोनों अलग हो चुके हैं। शाहीन जिस मुकाम पे काम कर रही थी, जिस टारगेट पे काम कर रही थी, वो अलग होके उस काम में लगी थी।
As NIA tightened its grip around Amir, new information from Shaheen points at more deeper plot.
Moving on, at the Chanakya Defence Dialogue, India's Chief of Army Staff, General Upendra Dwivedi, has issued a stark message to the world and to the neighbor across the border. This is the story of Operation Sindoor. Not a full chapter in India's defence saga, but a mere trailer. As General Dwivedi declared, and I quote, Operation Sindoor was just a trailer which ended in 88 minutes. We are prepared for any circumstances in the future. In a 2-minute 43-second address, General Dwivedi has emphasized India's readiness to tackle any threat. His message was clear. India's defense forces are prepared for any scenario. The address was no mere review. It was a direct warning to Pakistan, accused of fueling state-sponsored terrorism that hampers India's progress.
At the Chanakya Defence Dialogue, India's Chief of Defence Staff, General Upendra Dwivedi, issued a stark message to the world and to a neighbour across the border. This is the story of Operation Sindoor. Not a full chapter in India's defence saga, but a mere trailer. A swift 88-hour demonstration of resolve that ended before it truly began. As General Dwivedi declared, Operation Sindoor was just a trailer which ended in 88 hours. We are prepared for any circumstances in the future.
1.0 तो देखिए, मैं तो ये कहना चाहूँगा कि मूवी शुरू भी नहीं हुई थी, सिर्फ एक ट्रेलर दिखाया गया था और ट्रेलर के बाद 88 घंटे में वो ट्रेलर ख़त्म हो गया था। तो आगे आने वाले हालात कैसे होंगे, ये इसके बारे में हम पूरी तैयारी करके बैठे हुए हैं। और अगर कोई ऐसा हमें मौका देता है पाकिस्तान, तो हम उसको भरपूर एक शिक्षा प्रदान करना चाहेंगे उसको कि कैसे एक जिम्मेवार नेशन को अपने पड़ोसियों से बिहेव करना चाहिए। जब कोई भी ऑपरेशन होता है उससे कुछ ना कुछ हम शिक्षा ग्रहण कर सकते हैं।
The address was no mere review. It was a direct warning to Pakistan, accused of fueling state-sponsored terrorism that hampers India's progress.
अभी इस बार तकरीबन में 31 मिलिटेंट मारे हैं, टेररिस्ट मारे हैं, जिसमें कि तकरीबन 61% जो पाकिस्तान टेररिस्ट हैं। रिक्रूटमेंट इस बार सिर्फ एक हुआ था और वो भी पकड़ा गया। तो जम्मू कश्मीर में बदलाव आ रहा है, अच्छे के लिए आ रहा है। जो उसका एक यूथ है, जो जवान है, वो जो उसे चाहिए एक आशा और विश्वास की जो एक जागरूकता है वो बढ़ती जा रही है, और भारत के प्रति जो एक सम्मोह है वो बढ़ता जा रहा है, पाकिस्तान की तरह उसका मोह भंग होता जा रहा है।
In the theatre of global security, India has previewed its strength. Pakistan, the curtain call is yours, but heed the trailer. As General Dwivedi reminds us, progress demands vigilance. India is ready and the world is watching.
Let's now tell you what's happening in Bangladesh. Bangladesh's International Crimes Tribunal has sentenced former Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina to death in a case over alleged crime against humanity committed. Now, the court has found Hasina guilty of 3 counts, concluding months-long trial that found her guilty of ordering a deadly crackdown on a student-led uprising last year that had led to the fall of her Awami League government, after which Yunus government had taken over. Amidst this, Hasina has responded to Republic in her first statement that came out after the verdict. She said that the verdict is against her and was rigged by tribunal and is biased and politically motivated. Here is what Hasina's statement were, and this is how India is responding to it.
Sheikh Hasina, the former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, has been sentenced to death. Bangladesh's Special Tribunal Court found her guilty on charges against what they call crimes against humanity. They found her guilty on 3 grounds: incitement, order to kill, and failure to prevent atrocities and failing to take actions against perpetrators. The Jamaat-backed court pronounced the verdict for Sheikh Hasina along with former Home Minister Kamal and former Inspector General of Police Mamun. Hasina and the former Home Minister have received the death penalty, while the Inspector General has been given 5 years of jail time. Meanwhile, Sheikh Hasina has responded to Republic, saying that the verdict against her is biased and politically motivated by a rigged tribunal. Sheikh Hasina told Republic that she will move to International Court in Hague against her verdict. Meanwhile, former Bangladeshi Education Minister Mohibul Hassan Chaudhry told Republic that Awami League will now protest the verdict.
Usually it takes around a year for criminal proceeding to complete in Bangladesh. Also in Indian subcontinent, because we share the same criminal procedure code and the penal code. There is a proper process in place. None of those processes were followed under this particular tribunal. It was fast-tracked just to give conviction to Sheikh Hasina and her colleagues and the Awami League leadership in order to convict them before the next election. So their objective is to keep the senior leaders out of the election. They're anxious that these leaders might stand independently, even if the party is banned.
He reiterated that this interim change wants to take the country on the brink of a civil war. With the verdict on Sheikh Hasina out, Bangladesh remains on edge. And now all eyes are on Hasina to see her next course of action.
Moving on to the other stories that we are tracking, this one is coming in from Mumbai. Now, Reliance Group chairman Anil Ambani has skipped the second summons by the Enforcement Directorate in the FEMA case. Now, the industrialist cited that his wife was unwell and that is why he wanted to skip the summons, and that he's ready to appear before the ED, but by any virtual means. However, Earlier, the Enforcement Directorate had already rejected the virtual appearance request after the first summons. Here is a report on what could be next for Anil Ambani, since he's already skipped 2 summons and the third one is incoming.
Reliance Group chairman Anil Ambani skipped second summons by the Enforcement Directorate in the FEMA case. The clock went past 11 a.m., but Anil Ambani or his convoy was nowhere to be seen, signaling another absence in the case. Later in the day, it was said that he skipped the notice because his wife, Tina Ambani, was unwell.
Anil Ambani skipped ED summons for the second time. When the first time Anil Ambani skipped the ED summon, at that time fresh summons were given to Anil Ambani to appear before the federal agency. The summon was issued on 14th of November, and today on Monday Anil Ambani was supposed to appear physically in front of the federal agency, which he skipped. During the first summon, Anil Ambani, through with the spokesperson, stated that he would be virtually recording his statement and not physically appearing, but Enforcement Directorate rejected this offer and this request of Anil Ambani by stating that only physical appearance will be applied for the recording of the statement. But this time, second time, Anil Ambani has skipped the summon. Let me tell you that the investigation pertains under the FEMA case and under the allocation of the Jaipur Ringas Highway project, where almost during the search operations conducted by the agency at the hour infra, it was found that rupees 40 crore was siphoned off from the highway project, and how the shell companies based out of Surat were directly linked to the Dubai Hawala network.
The FEMA investigations against Anil Ambani concern the Jaipur Ringas Highway project. In an earlier statement, ED had said investigation against Reliance Infrastructure Limited revealed that 40 crore rupees were allegedly siphoned off the highway project. The trail against Reliance appears to stretch wider, as money has been moved to Dubai, unearthing an international Hawala network exceeding rupees 600 crore. Anil Ambani's spokesperson issued a statement saying that he was ready to appear before ED by all virtual means. However, the directorate had already rejected the virtual appearance request after the first summons. Defending Anil Ambani, it was also stated that he served for 15 years only as a non-executive director and was never involved in day-to-day management. But then the question arises, why is Anil Ambani evading the ED summons?
The Bihar government, led by Chief Minister-elect Nitish Kumar, has recommended dissolving the cabinet 3 days after the historic mandate. As the new government prepares to take oath on the November 28th, the opposition has raised concerns about the election rigging, with Congress leader Robert Vadra taking the lead and alleging that the Election Commission played a role in the NDA's landslide victory. Meanwhile, what's also happening in Bihar is that tensions are simmering within the Yadav clan, as RJD chief Lalu Yadav's daughter Rohini Acharya has made some explosive claims against the family, leading to 3 more daughters leaving their residences in Patna. Here's all that's happening in the state of Bihar.
बोलिए मोदी सरकार की जय, बोलिए नीतीश सरकार की जय, भारत माता की जय, भारत माता
की जय। 3 days after the historic mandate, the Bihar government, led by CM-elect Nitish Kumar, recommended dissolving the cabinet. An official letter was handed by outgoing cabinet members to Governor Arif Muhammad Khan. And as the new government is set to take oath on 20th of November, the opposition has raked up the issue of election rigging yet again.
बिहार की जनता असल में खुश नहीं है। जो हुआ है बिल्कुल वो ईसी के वजह से हुआ है। ईसी ने मदद की है और ऐसे जो रिजल्ट आए कोई भी उसमें सहमत नहीं है। और राहुल जी कल सब लोग उसके साथ मिल रहे हैं, जितने भी जवान युवक हैं सब उनके साथ जुड़ेंगे और आंदोलन करेंगे कि डेमोक्रेसी होनी चाहिए। ये कोई चुनाव ढंग का नहीं था और दोबारा चुनाव होने चाहिए वहाँ, फिर आपको दिखेगा बिल्कुल रिजल्ट पलटेगा।
This comment of Robert Vadra sparked controversy after he challenged the legitimacy of NDA's landslide victory in the Bihar Assembly elections. The Gandhi family members said that the polls were not conducted properly and called for a complete re-election in the state. Doubling down, he accused the Election Commission of playing a role in securing the sweeping win for the NDA, claiming that many in Bihar are unhappy with the outcome. Meanwhile, the BJP has pushed back against these claims, calling the opposition a sore loser.
Mr. Vadra's shocking demand for re-election in Bihar has questioned the integrity of the Bihar people and insulted the honesty of the Bihar voters. Is the Congress party now using and deploying Mr. Robert Vadra as its proxy to intimidate and threaten constitutional institutions? It is the height of hypocrisy that Mr. Robert Vadra talks about the integrity of democratic process when the Nehru-Gandhi first family has undemocratically hijacked political leadership as a birthright.
Meanwhile, in the opposition camp, tension simmers within the Yadav clan after RJD chief Lalu Yadav's daughter Rohini Acharya's explosive claims against the family.
कल मेरे माता पिता भी रो रहे थे, मेरी बहन रो रही थी मेरे लिए। मुझे भगवान ने मुझे सौभाग्य दिया कि मुझे मेरे इस तरह के माता पिता मिले जो मेरा हर समय मेरा साथ दिए। मुझे बस इतना ही कहना है कि भगवान ना करे कि आप लोग के भी घर में कभी मेरे जैसी बहन बेटियां हो। जिस घर में भाई हो, भाई लोग का ही योगदान होना चाहिए। काहे सारा बलिदान बेटी लोग दी, और जब बेटी कुछ सवाल पूछे तो आप बोल दीजिएगा कि आप ससुराल में जाओ, तुम्हारा शादी हो गया है।
With the controversy snowballing, 3 more daughters of the Yadav patriarch have left the Patna residence.
जब एक परिवार ऐसी कठिन परिस्थितियों से गुजरता है तो वो किस मानसिक दबाव में रहता है, इसका अंदाज़ा मुझे है, क्योंकि मैं भी इस दौर से गुजरा हूँ। हम लोगों के राजनीतिक मतभेद ज़रूर रहे हैं, पर मैंने हमेशा आदरणीय लालू जी के परिवार को अपना परिवार माना है। मैंने हमेशा तेजस्वी हूँ, तेज हूँ, मीसा दी हूँ, रोहिणी जी हूँ, सबको मैंने अपने भाई बहन ही माना है। ऐसे में बस मैं सिर्फ इतनी प्रार्थना करता हूँ कि जल्द से जल्द ये पारिवारिक विवाद सुलझे। घर में एकता बनी रहती है तो इंसान बाहर कठिन परिस्थितियों से लड़ लेता है।
ये हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी तो चुनाव के पहले ही कह दिया था कि चुनाव के बाद लालू जी का परिवार ही बिखर जाएगा, और जब कोई पार्टी परिवार की पार्टी हो जाती है, आज इंदिरा जी के बाद राहुल गांधी, राजीव गांधी और संजय गांधी के परिवार तो बिखर ही गए। अब इसमें से एक ही परिवार रहा। उसी ढंग से परिवारवाद को अब लोकतंत्र में खत्म होने का समय आ गया है।
With days to go for the new government to assume office, the political showdown continues and escalates.
And on to the last story that we're tracking on this edition of 6 Stories at 6. A devastating bus accident in Saudi Arabia has claimed the lives of over 42 Indian Umrah pilgrims, with more than half of the victims hailing from Hyderabad. The bus carrying pilgrims from Mecca to Medina collided with a diesel tanker near Medina, causing a massive fire that engulfed the vehicle. The accident occurred around 1:30 a.m. local time, and the rescue teams are on the scene currently as we speak, working to recover the bodies. The Indian Embassy, meanwhile, has set up a 24/7 control room with the toll-free helpline number. Here are all the details.
In a tragic accident in Saudi Arabia, a bus collided with a diesel tank, causing over 42 deaths. The visuals are from the site of the accident. The bus caught in flames along with pilgrims, more than half of whom are suspected to be Indians from Hyderabad.
Currently standing at this particular travel agency, which had taken over 45 passengers from Hyderabad and Telangana to this religious pilgrimage of Mecca and Medina. Almost all the passengers are they have boarded the bus from this particular travels. What we are learning is that this is a regular travel which undertakes this particular pilgrimage and takes over several pilgrims from Telangana and Hyderabad every year to Mecca and Medina. Unfortunately, unfortunately, what we are learning is that today, late night yesterday, several this particular travel bus was gutted in fire, resulting in 42 passengers who are dead from Hyderabad and Telangana. Now, what we are currently seeing is that the relatives of this passenger, of this pilgrims who are feared dead in this accident, are waiting outside this travel agency for answers, and they are waiting outside the travel agency to have details about their families who have passed away, who are feared dead in this particular accident.
As per initial reports, the Umrah pilgrims were en route Medina, having completed their rituals in Mecca, when the bus collided with the diesel tank, with passengers sleeping on board, leaving no chance to escape as the bus burst into flames. Sources tell only one passenger along with the driver survived the accident. The other bodies have been charred beyond recognition. As the news reached India, families of the missing are desperately awaiting any information about their kins.
मेरे ब्रदर इन लॉ 2 है, मोहम्मद सैफुल रहमान, मोहम्मद शुएबुर रहमान, और मेरे मदर इन लॉ है रईस बेगम। उम्रे के लिए गए थे, तो वहाँ पे उम्रा करे बाद से वहाँ से फिर वो लोग जो है मदीने के लिए निकले थे, तो रास्ते में जो है एक्सीडेंट होने की वजह से ये बताया गया कि सारे लोग का इंतकाल हो गया बोलकर।
A 24/7 control room has been set up in Saudi Arabia by the Indian consulate, with toll-free and WhatsApp helplines released. In India, the Telangana Secretariat has set up a control room and released helplines.
जो एक बस में जो ट्रैवल कर रहे थे, यहाँ पे जो पिलग्रिम्स थे जो उम्रा के लिए गए थे, मक्का शरीफ की उम्रा फिनिश करके जब मदीना शरीफ ज़ियारत के लिए जा रहे थे, तो टैंकर के साथ एक्सीडेंट हुआ और मेरे ख्याल में 47 या 48 लोग मर गए। उसमें काफ़ी छोटे छोटे बच्चे भी थे और काफ़ी लेडीज़ भी थे, औरत भी थे, बट लेकिन एक आदमी सर्वाइव हुआ बोल के ऐसे न्यूज़ आ रही। बट लेकिन सीएम साहब का 100% इंस्ट्रक्शन है कि टोटली सीएम साहब खुद इस सिचुएशन को मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं और सीएम साहब का इंस्ट्रक्शन है कि इसको एकदम टॉप प्रायोरिटी मिले और काम करें। जितने भी लोग को जो भी प्रॉब्लम है गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से फुल सहायता मिलेगी। हम ट्राई कर रहे हैं कि एक आध फैमिली से एक मेंबर को भिजा के उनके लास्ट राइट्स जो होते हैं, तदफीन जो होते हैं, उनको वहाँ पे रहने की हम पूरी कोशिश कर रहे हैं।
सर, नंबर ऑफ कैजुअलिटीज एक बार अगर क्लैरिटी।
कैजुअलिटीज 47 और 48 के बीच में।
तो मैंने इंडियन एम्बेसी रियाद में जो DCM है अबू मैथन जॉर्ज साहब से मेरी बात हुई और उन्होंने मुझसे कहा कि कौंसल जनरल जिद्दा भी और वो ख़ुद इस पर मालूमात हासिल कर रहे हैं और जो भी ज़रूरी कार्रवाई करना है वो करेंगे। मेरी भारत सरकार से और ख़ास तौर से एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर से जयशंकर साहब से ये रिक्वेस्ट है कि वो इमीडिएटली इस पर देखें और अगर जिन लोगों की डेथ हुई है उनके परिवार ये चाह रहा है कि उनकी डेड बॉडीज़ जल्द से जल्द इंडिया को लाई जाए और अगर कोई उसमें ज़ख्मी है तो उनको अच्छी से अच्छी वहाँ पर उनको इलाज हो सके। ये मैं रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ हमारे एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर से और भारत सरकार से।
As the Indian government coordinates closely with the Saudi Arabian counterpart, Prime Minister Modi took to X and expressed deep sorrow over the accident, while Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy has asked for immediate information gathering, expressing deep shock.